nature of this case is that Thorpe was attempting to buy stolen property from a friend of a friend who was trying to get back off of his feet, and Thorpe contends that he was being entrapped, and therefore the charges should be dropped and be null and void. Well, we don't really know if he was being entrapped. He can't really prove that. That's the nature of the case. Thorpe bought tools, which was a cordless telephone, which was estimated to be worth $149 for $25, an electric drill set, which was estimated to be worth $145 for $25, and some padlocks, which are worth $145 for $20. And he bought these items, like I said, for a friend of a friend under the alias Ralph Torres, who was actually an undercover police officer. And the people kind of just relied on the fact that, hey, these items are not actually worth that. And they knew that Thorpe knew that these items were not worth that amount of money. They relied on him knowing that for him to not buy those items. And actually, Torres did tell him that these items were indeed stolen. And that was not the case. Thorpe did go and try to buy these items. Told that these items were stolen, which he still tried to buy the items, but Thorpe raised 2 points in his defense. He did not think the items were stolen, and even if he did think that they were stolen, that this was still entrapment. Entrapment is when you are being set up, basically, and the court did not care. They convicted him on 3 counts of receiving stolen property. So that is the facts of the case. Court directed a verdict against the defendant, Thorpe, and he was convicted, like I said, 3 counts against receiving stolen property, and he was given 3 years probation, conditioned under he had to serve 6 months in a county jail term if he did not follow through with the 3 years probation, and he also had to pay a $100 fine. Court ruled in favor of the people. Considering a normal person, a law-abiding citizen, would not act in an illegal manner in a way that would put them in a bad situation, I see where he went wrong. The entrapment ideal in this case has nothing to do with the conduct of Thorpe in this case. There would be no reason to question his integrity if he was a law-abiding citizen, and the whole ideology between entrapment is not really needed in this case. If he was a law-abiding citizen, it wouldn't really need to be brought into question. I pulled was Evidence Code section 1102, which makes evidence character relevant to only the defendant's conduct, and since entrapment has nothing to do with the defendant's conduct, this section and then the instructions on the entrapment do not conflict. And then I also referenced People versus Baranza, which entrapment concerns the law of the law enforcement agents exclusively if their conduct would likely have to induce a normal law-abiding person to commit the offense. So those are the reasons behind me pulling those things. I just don't think that the entrapment has anything to do with this case, really. To concur with the court, they move properly in this manner, because if a person sees something that is too good to be true, it is very likely it is too good to be true. And if you were told that something is stolen property, then you should not move forward with purchasing it. And he should have stopped himself at that moment and said, "Oh no, I'm good, thanks," and move forward. They were just in their findings, I believe, and they followed the law in their proceedings, and I believe that he pulled the entrapment as a way to try and defend himself, but I feel that it was not just. I feel like it was just kind of just to play his cards. I think that he put himself in a bad position and he got caught, because that was an undercover cop that was selling him the illegal stolen property. So, I agree with the court. Personally, I don't really disagree with the court, but The entrapment possibility in this case is a little tricky. It kind of feels as though he was kind of put in a sticky position. It's hard to prove entrapment, so I can kind of understand his defense, but he shouldn't have put himself in that position. There's no way to really decide if the court did this or not. It would have absolved court of his criminal liability, but we have to go with their decision and the evidence provided. For this is, if entrapment had been proven, how would this case have differed and why? What would have constituted entrapment? And what if Thorpe had been a woman? Would this case have played out differently? Because in some cases, women would have received a lesser sentence. Would the defendant have received a lesser sentence if Thorpe had been a woman? Why or why not?